Hello, loved ones. We interrupt this important broadcast to deliver some exciting news in this household.
Oh, yeah. Some sexy news.
Some sexy news, if you will. Our very own Nicholas Viall, the host of the Viall Files, the namesake, if you will, has been nominated for a category we didn't even know existed. And it is the People Magazine's sexiest podcast host. Now, you might know People Magazine. They have their, sexiest man alive category. They
have other categories.
They have other categories.
Who knew?
We don't just have to go general anymore. We can literally pick the sexiest podcast host. So go to people.com. Place your votes. Sexiest podcast host.
You're crazy.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another exciting episode of the Viall Files Going Deeper edition. I'm your host, Nick, joined by the household. It's almost a full household. Well, it was a full household this episode. Our pop culture correspondent had to go get something to eat and then go to the chiropractor. Pregnant problems. Whatever. What are you going to do? So she's with us this episode for our wonderful interview with the great Dustin Lynch. Big fan. For all you country music fans out there, we were excited to have Dustin on, and he did not disappoint. So I can't wait for you guys to hear Dustin. What a handsome fella. Biggest takeaway.
Lovely nugget.
Oh, say something else.
Why can't I
what
say
man
that?
wants to be described as a lovely nugget?
He reminds me of someone who you'd meet out at a bar and you could trust with your drink.
Okay, yeah. Kind eyes.
Yeah, kind eyes.
Very kind eyes.
Great
Yeah.
smile.
Great smile.
He really...
Great voice.
Yeah, great voice.
Yeah. I wanted to ask him to sing, but I figured that'd be obnoxious.
That might have been a little
God.
far. Yeah.
Because I could just hear his beautiful voice and his speaking voice.
Yeah, I feel like you got to do it sneaky. Be like, wait, how does that song? How does that song
but
everybody would obviously know go?
Like,
and
but I
kind of
need you,
bait him into it.
Like, can you sing it quick? Yeah. No, yeah, it must be annoying. Yeah.
I was really surprised his favorite Taylor Swift song is Style.
I kind of love that for him, though.
I do too, but I didn't see him as a 1989 girlie.
Yeah, neither did
I'm a
I.
1989 girly.
I'm a 1989 girlie. Get
For
in
sure.
line, bitch. Just kidding. Immediately, I was like,
Taylor
he's-
Swift
he's a
albums can
singer.
only belong to one person, clearly.
Yeah. Immediately, I was like, he kind of looks like Joe, and he's a singer, and he's like a nice country Nashville boy.
You want him to date Taylor?
I don't know, but did you see that she was wearing a necklace with Jason
Kelsey.
or
Oh,
wait,
Travis
Travis
Kelsey's
Jason's his brother.
birthstone?
Yes.
Do you think that's a coincidence or nothing that Taylor does is a coincidence? Also, hi, Amanda.
Oh,
She's
yeah.
she's with us remote. How are you feeling?
Sniffly.
Are you still
But
COVID free?
yeah. Still testing negative for COVID. Gonna keep going because I've heard it's been people will be testing later. But sad that I'm isolated. It's never fun to be like, I might get everybody I see sick and feel really guilty about it.
Are you
So
feeling
it's just
better
kind of-
though? What are we talking here? What are we talking symptoms?
Just sore throat, a lot of mucus showing up to the party uninvited.
Okay.
Oh,
Wow.
I'm sorry, Queen.
Yuck.
Thank you. It's really not that like we were kind of saying before we started rolling, in normal or pre-COVID times, you'd show up with a cold, you'd be totally fine. But now we have a newfound etiquette where we're being considerate about people, which I'm here for. And so
It sucks when you're sick and you're forced to stay home knowing that you could probably power through, as we often
Totally.
did. But no one wants to get fucking sick,
yeah.
Anyway.
The importance of consent. I feel like I've been sending all these messages being just so everybody's aware, here's the situation. Do you want me to show up to improv practice or not in a mask?
Is everyone saying no?
TBD.
TBD. Wow.
Oh.
TBD.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like Taylor and Travis are TBD.
Yeah, anyway, back to Taylor and Travis. Would Taylor,
She has said
does she
before
like to troll her
that she loves
fans?
to put Easter eggs on jewelry and clothing items. She has specifically said that before.
She has. Oh,
Yeah.
well then they're fucking. No. I mean, Travis is a
I
playboy.
feel like only she could pull that off also. If I started fucking someone and then was like wearing, well, actually, if it was a woman, I think that would be cute and fun. If it were a man, they'd be like, what the fuck?
But I
Like, why
also
do you have my
think-
birthstone?
While I agree that nothing goes past her, she's not doing anything, randomly. She's a very calculated and fun woman in that way. I will also say, to play devil's advocate, it is an opal, which, like, looking at the jewelry she's wearing in this photo, it seems to go very well with her other jewelry. It would be one thing if
So
he
true.
was an August birthday. Our birthstone is like the peridot, or like it's this weird lime green. That would be.
I mean, I'm really disappointed in this take because, like, if you know Taylor, like I know Taylor,
Oh,
you would
I'm so
know-
sorry. I'm so sorry.
You would know that she's not going to be obvious with her Easter eggs. She's gonna make
Exactly.
sure it matches her outfit, and she's gonna
She
make
can't just
sure
like
it's
own
subtle.
an opal necklace.
She's just not gonna like come out with like a sign that says I'm now having sex or dating. Well, we don't know. We don't want to speak on Taylor's sex life. That's not our place. But yes, she's not gonna be. She's gonna be subtle about it.
She's not going to wear his jersey and nothing else.
Correct. Yeah. Although that must be like a huge win for every professional athlete. Well, what's the best jersey? A basketball jersey, not as cool. A baseball or a football jersey, your girl wearing your jersey.
I think football is a cutest.
Baseball, their
baseball's
outfits are
cute.
too tight.
No,
Their outfits are
but
way
the-
too tight.
it's a button up. It's
Yeah, it's a button up. It's perfect. And
yeah.
you can wear you can still wear it and then
You
you
can
can have
even
like
style
a cute
it,
top
yeah.
under it.
Oh,
yeah.
like a football jersey is like you're just
It's
you're
put on the
drowning.
sack.
I don't
Yeah.
think we were thinking like full outfit.
I thought we were talking around the house.
Sure.
No one else is
Naked.
home.
Fine.
Not wearing any
Yeah.
underwear.
I would style a baseball jersey. I would wear a football jersey naked.
Yes.
Case closed.
Well, if you were
Case
dating a
closed.
baseball player, you wouldn't want to wear his jersey.
It would be like I'd look like Winnie the Pooh. It's not big enough.
But that
Their
isn't.
outfits are way too tight. Been saying this for years. You can see whether they have a butt, whether
I
they
don't think
don't
you
have
would wear
a butt.
the pants and belt too.
Yeah.
Like that
Also,
would
you're
be
not.
pretty high key.
You're
Like,
probably
baseball
not
players
the
wear
same
pajamas.
size as your professional athlete boyfriend.
I'd die. I'd lay down and die if I was.
Travis Kelce is 6'5", 230, 40 maybe.
Yeah, which is why
250.
we'd want to wear his jersey naked.
Yeah.
It's like when you wear your boyfriend's like sweatshirt or sweatpants and you're like, this is not even the size I would buy for myself.
No, literally. When you put on I've put on some men's
Meanwhile, I'm
t-shirts.
stealing Natalie's sweatpants all the time.
Well,
But happy
you know
for you,
who's
Taylor.
not.
She had some big oversized sweatpants, and they were tight on me. Yeah.
You know who's not sharing sweatpants anymore?
I don't know if I need to have that disclaimer.
I missed my transition.
Oh, what is your transition?
Yeah, that
Sorry.
was gonna be good.
I said, you know who's not sharing sweatpants anymore? Kevin Costner and Christine Baumgartner.
This is a real case closed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Derek,
Yeah,
Derek,
yeah.
give us a little audio. All
Case
right,
closed.
yeah, the case closed. Kevin Costner.
They played that in court.
When Derek was on jury duty, he recorded that illegally.
Oh, that's great. Speaking of jury duty,
James Marsden.
James Marsden. Oh yeah. Anyway, Kevin Costner and Christine Baumgartner.
That was so good.
officially
You just had
divorced.
to ride the high.
Well, yeah,
did
but
a
we didn't
Yui.
we didn't even get to the story.
Case closed. You don't
We
need to
just played the
discuss
Derek
it.
audio.
We just
Said,
played
there
the
it is.
Derek audio, and we're like, yeah, pick up on your Easter eggs.
I'm kind of sad. We won't be able to talk about him anymore.
I know. There's no. Well,
He better
Listen,
get up to some shit.
if I know anything about a messy queen, is that they will continue to be messy.
Agree.
So this is just a plea, Christine, if you're listening.
Well, even like
Get your mess on.
Kev, like in his healing era, I can't wait to see what kind of like dates he goes on. Know what I mean? I'm excited to see.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
What do you think Kev's new age range is? What's Kev? How old is Kevin?
I literally was going to ask the same
He's in his
question.
70s.
Is he?
68. Don't age him.
68?
Don't age him out.
Oh, my bad, Kev.
But it looks like he's in his 50s.
When you
You think
were...
you would date Natalie's mom?
Oh my God. Maybe.
Natalie's mom's babe.
She is.
How old is she?
Early 60s?
Perfect.
I think she just turned 60.
Wow. How old do you think Christine was? Take a guess.
49. 48.
49. How'd you know that?
She's 49?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So maybe he'll go even younger than that.
It's 10 that's what tends to happen.
The pendulum has to swing, but then it'll swing back.
How old was she when they first started dating?
When they first started dating,
2004, they were
that's when they got
married.
married. So what would that
God, they've
be?
been together for a long time.
Yeah.
Married 19 years.
Damn.
Lots
Damn.
of time to build up resentment.
So 30. No, she won't be 30.
No.
He might get some
30.
heat for that.
39?
Yeah,
see?
late 30s,
Early
early
40s.
40s.
And he could go, she's almost in her 40s.
She's mature for her age.
She's
Well,
an
you know
old
who's
soul.
not
Do you
in
think
their
I
40s
could
anymore?
pass as 39?
Do you want to date Kevin Costner?
I don't know. I'm just so happy for the goddamn guy. I love him.
What personality is surfacing right now?
I don't
I don't know,
know.
but I love it.
don't know. Amanda had a really good transition again. Why do we keep losing
Punt
these
into
transitions?
Amanda.
What was your transition?
It's just, who's not in their 40s anymore? James Marsden, because that bitch turned 50.
Yeah.
What a good.
What?
And
Yeah.
He hit on Natalie once.
did y'all see his cake?
Wow.
Yeah.
Where?
What
What was the context?
Sunset Tower.
What do you say specifically?
Well, you'd have to ask her pop culture correspondent.
Shit.
That's
I wonder
know.
if he was I wonder what a compliment from
think
James
she
would
was
be
at
like.
Sunset Tower. I reserve the right for the fiance to correct the story, but I wasn't there, and she was getting an Uber.
This is while you were together?
Yeah,
Oh, because otherwise she would have dated him.
obviously.
He's a catch.
And then it was like he was like, "So where are you ladies going tonight?"
Ooh.
And then she said back to my boy. I don't think we were engaged. We weren't engaged at the time. And then he made a comment "Of course you're taken" or something like that. I think it
Wow.
was something like that.
He looks
That's
damn
so awesome
good
for
for
Natalie.
50.
Oh no, he's gorgeous.
Seriously.
He's absolutely gorgeous.
Wow.
Seriously.
Yeah. Also, why weren't we invited to his party?
I know. If he wanted to date Natalie that badly, he should have invited your pregnant fiance to
Look
his
at that
birthday.
hair, that smile.
Oh my God. He's such Hollywood classic hot royalty.
Yeah.
It was weird. He always played the guy who couldn't get the girl. Weirdly enough, when I was announced as The Bachelor, I was compared to James Marsden's characters that he played in movies as the one who
Really?
never got the girl.
27 dresses.
Except for 27 Dresses.
That's such
Fantastic
an amazing movie.
And he gets to play on the cynical,
Yeah.
doesn't believe in love guy, but he gets the girl in the
He
end.
does, but he gets cheated on in The Notebook. Anyway, he had a picture of himself on his birthday cake. I
I don't think he probably designed the cake, but
It'd be really funny if he did.
It was from the model days. If you guys had to have let's say one of your Instagram photos
God, he looks good.
on your birthday cake, which one would you pick?
Which one would I pick?
Let's pull up next Instagram.
yeah, literally.
Well, yeah, a good shirtless one, right?
Probably. Show off those
It's been a
abs.
while
right?
since I've posted. I'm definitely in my dad era. I'm
Google.
definitely envious of Tyler's thirst traps. The one against the wall, that stone wall was good.
What stone wall?
The on the right, and that was my Paradise days.
This one?
No, that's me running. That's during
That's a
pandemic.
stone wall. Oh, this stone wall. How many
Yeah.
stone walls you posing on?
Oh, what an unfortunate shot there. How
Look at that.
Yeah.
You look fit.
I was fit.
Look at you cooking.
Yeah, wow, there's a lot. Look at some of these running photos are really unbecoming. Yeah, Harry Styles looks much better running. Go scroll
What is
up.
this? Oh my God.
Nick,
Nicholas.
in what even was that? A
Why are your
pond?
pants unbuttoned?
I wasn't modeling. This is my modeling era.
Why are you giving
God, look at
Tom
those
Schwartz in this?
glasses.
The fashion frames? Yeah. All
Oh
right,
my
we can be done now.
God.
All right, this is uncomfortable.
Wow.
But really, any of those? Wow, I need to get back in
lots,
shape.
lots of options.
I need to get back in shape. That's the biggest takeaway. I really feel bad for Natalie in that regard.
That you're aging out of your hotness?
Well, I've always, I'm still obviously in decent shape. Obviously, I don't know how I say obviously. I mean, obviously,
He's obviously
off his
hot.
shirt.
but I'm not I'm not as in shape as I was. That's early when I met Natalie right there.
This one?
Yeah, Natalie took that photo.
Oh,
That's the most in shape I've ever been with my dating Natalie.
your arms
Okay.
look good.
Yeah, look all right.
I have a question. What is the for men? And I'm sure every man is different, but do you have any insights on the ways to complement muscle growth? Because my boyfriend's really been hitting the gym, and it's
Really?
he looks great, and I realize I don't know the words to be big muscles, good job.
I think you just say yeah, your body's looking good. I don't
You
know.
look diced as hell.
Diced.
Yep, that's what I
Diced?
hear. That's what I hear.
Diced?
I would just say that you just say I'm really noticing your arms. I don't know. Just tell me what you noticed. I do.
I do. I just wasn't sure if there was a more specific compliment.
Men
that
are
would be
not picky
meaningful.
when we receive compliments, and I do think men are compliment starved.
Hmm.
I do.
Yeah.
I don't
Totally agree.
I don't think men receive enough meaningful and sincere compliments from their partners.
But I feel like men sometimes don't accept compliments well. Like they'll be like, yeah, I know. Like, you know, or like they'll be like not like kind of like, and maybe it's just because like they're
Sure.
starved of
Yeah,
it and they don't receive them enough.
be
But I will
awkward.
say sometimes the reaction is not what you would want.
I hear you on that, but nevertheless, compliment your men. You know,
Persist.
They need it.
Persist.
They need it. What is Bethenny Frankel? What happened? Is Bethenny just in her villain era?
Well, so this whole thing started when I believe she donated some makeup and people were criticizing her for like donating used makeup or potentially stuff that she'd used before. And then basically she kind of dug herself a deeper hole because she had said that this TJ Maxx cashier couldn't afford the palette that she was giving her in this bag of used makeup products. And a bunch of people were commenting, why would you say that? And she literally responded to the question in comments by saying, because she's a cashier at TJ Maxx. So insinuating that because she works at TJ Maxx, she couldn't possibly afford the bag of things that she was given. And then it just flooded a whole other comments of how tone deaf she was, how ignorant it was. A cashier can afford it if they save for it. Came across as entitled and rude.
I don't really care about any of this in a sense that like she definitely stepped in it for sure. But like, why the fuck are you recording? You donate, like, what? Why does that need to be documented? Why do you need to put that on fucking TikTok? You know, if you want to do something nice for someone, just go fucking do it and shut the fuck up. You know,
I agree.
You don't need to document it. You don't need your hero shot. If you want to give some people at TJ Maxx, and like, let's not pretend that like, you know, if maybe she could afford it, but like she's not affording it because of her salary from TJ Maxx. And if you want to do something nice for people who are employees at TJ Maxx, that's awesome. Because like they probably can't afford. I don't know. Like maybe they can, but like sometimes that makeup is so fucking expensive. But if you want to do a nice thing, just go do the nice thing.
Well,
don't expect praise from it.
It feels like it kind of deflates the value of doing good things. And maybe it's the Catholic in us because we were always taught that by you advertising something good that you did, you're not really doing it for the right reasons. But I recently saw even someone I know post this whole thing on Instagram about this like big good deed they did. And it was not only a grid post, but a story post and all this other stuff. And I was like, okay, but then I question why do you need to share it?
Yeah. Like one of my good buddies used to live in LA and his wife would volunteer a soup kitchen every fucking Wednesday. So every once in a while we'd go and help. I didn't like Instagram it and like, look at me, I'm serving food, you know, like it's so gross that people do that. So like my biggest problem is her just even trying to get fucking credit for like giving away fucking samples, which she does get all the fucking time. It's not a good deed. The people who are accepting Bethenny's charity are doing Bethenny a favor because she does get so much free fucking shit sent to her house all the fucking time that she can't keep up with it. So she needs to give it away. It's not even a good fucking deed.
That would be like Natalie filming a TikTok when she gives us some of her old PR stuff.
Right?
Like, oh, you poor ladies.
No,
You're so destitute.
You work for the podcaster. Like you can't possibly.
I'm so good.
But like, is this? I don't think Bethenny's stupid. Is she just like in this whole like, you know what? No, I'm totally embracing the no press is bad press era. Like,
God, maybe. Where did we land on that? Is that true? I don't think that's true.
it used to be until
yeah.
you know, nowadays.
I mean, there's so much press now.
I don't know.
Seems like she tripled down.
Yeah,
I don't know. I just don't know why she's filming this shit.
true.
It was bound to backfire.
You know what didn't backfire?
What?
Our interview with Dustin.
There we go. Nice, like a bunch of amazing transitions, y'all. Oh, Michael and Danielle broke up. What took them so long to announce is my question.
Well, because he had that kind of ominous statement weeks ago, if not months ago, that was kind of like, I'm not going to talk about this relationship right now. So I feel like a lot of us in the community sensed that they were not together, but now it's official.
By the way, speaking of Bachelor in Paradise, next week we got Rachel Recchia with us, former Bachelorette, now your star of Paradise, looking for love again on the beaches of Bachelor. Excited to talk with Rachel. Her and I have a lot of history. Can't wait to get into it with her. It's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait to talk with Rachel, have her on the show. And that is on Tuesday for Reality Recap. Boy, we got a lot of content coming up for y'all. Bachelor in Paradise, Golden Bachelor, Special Forces, Love is Blind. Woo! We'll be watching some TV. And you should too, because we'll be talking about it. Before we get to Dustin, don't forget we have another episode of Better Date Than Never live tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern. Don't forget to check that out. We'll be popping off in the chats. It's a ton of fun. People sharing success stories. People sharing what I like, my favorite, the failures. Because we like to learn through our failures. Either way, it's fun. People are making friends. So join us. That's tonight live at 9 p.m. Eastern. Also, don't forget to send those questions at asknick@theviallfiles.com for all things Ask Nick, texting office hours. If you haven't checked out the Tyler Cameron episode, be sure to do that. It was a doozy and an amazing Ask Nick episode dropped on Monday. Dropping another update special on Viall Files Plus this Friday. I don't know. We're at 14, 15 updates now behind Viall Files Plus. So if you love those updates, and I know you do because you guys just be listening to all the ones we put on Classic, do yourself a favor, sign up for Viall Files Plus. It's free. Just go to viallfiles.com and you will have plenty of content to enjoy. All right, the one, the only, Kind Eyes himself. All right, all you workout warriors out there, if you are not checking out Viall, you are making a huge mistake. Let me tell you, especially ladies who are listening to this show, you got to be tired of the crap that your husband or your boyfriend, the stuff that they're wearing to the gym. Chances are it's embarrassing. Chances are it needs to be thrown away. It smells. And you need to upgrade their workout wardrobe with Viall. Also, get something for yourself while you're at it. You deserve it. Viall is making top of the line, not only workout stuff, but stuff that we can wear to the gym, but also you can wear to the mall and shop. You know?
I live exclusively in athleisure, so I want to make sure that the stuff I'm wearing, not only to work out, but to run errands and just do day-to-day things, looks really high quality, because you end up with that kind of cheap old stuff you've been wearing forever that's like pilling and it just doesn't look high quality. So then it looks more like you're in pajamas as opposed to an outfit that you actually want to wear out in public. And things that Viall nails, like the performance jogger or the daily legging, because they're comfortable, they're versatile, you can wear them anywhere, but you look good doing it.
So get yourself and the men in your life an upgrade in your workout wardrobe. Viall is an investment in your happiness. For our listeners, they are offering 20% off your first purchase. Get yourself some of the most comfortable and versatile clothing on the planet at viall.com/VIALL. That is VUORI.com/VIALL. Not only will you receive 20% off your first purchase, but enjoy free shipping on any U.S. orders over $75 and free returns. Go to viall.com/VIALL and discover the versatility of Viall clothing. Again, that's VUORI.com/VIALL. VUORI.com/VIALL. Drizly! Well, you know we love it because it gets us our beer, wine, and spirits whenever we want it and need it.
Also, I'm sorry, but if drinking an Aperol Spritz after Labor Day is kind of like white pants, and if it's quote unquote wrong, I don't want to be right. So I texted my girlfriend the other day and I said, I'm craving an Aperol Spritz. I don't care that it's September. And she goes, dude, I just made one myself. Summer is never over. So you best believe I fired up my Drizly app and got some more Aperol, because I don't care if it's December. I will still be enjoying my Aperol Spritzes.
Well, whether it's Aperol Spritzes or maybe it's a craft brew or a delectable wine, it doesn't really matter. Drizly has it all. They have an amazing selection. Certainly your favorites, but they'll also have stuff that you maybe have never tried. Maybe you want to spice up your wine selection. Maybe try something from a different region. Or maybe you want to surprise, a friend and send them some spirits through the Drizly app. So whether it's for your party that you're throwing or you just don't feel like going out in crappy weather, Drizly is there to be your go-to app for drink delivery. That is right. Drizly. Download the Drizly app today or go to drizly.com. That's DRIZLY.com. Drizly.com. Drizly, the most convenient way to buy beer, wine, and spirits with delivery to your door when you want it. Drizly, the go-to app for drink delivery. Dustin, welcome. How's it going?
It's going great.
Yeah, we're excited to have you.
I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, congratulations on all your success, buddy. You have a new album coming out?
I do.
We were listening to your music this morning, rocking out.
Just as important, this is my first, what do we consider this podcast? Relationship?
Yeah, relationship, pop culture.
This is my first, y'all.
There we go.
Here I am.
Yeah.
Papa's cherry.
No, it's not your first podcast, though.
No.
No, you're really just ready to
I've realized through the years that I get cut off a lot when I'm doing interviews because I can be long-winded.
We love
so
that.
please cut me off.
We love a long-winded king on a podcast. Yeah.
But like a lot of, I forget if I'm doing radio or something that these guys are looking for quick bites.
Yeah.
I'll get to talking and telling a story. And it's like, well, you asked the question, I'm just going to tell it. But so podcasts are fun. Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
It's good.
We're
Long
excited
form.
to have you. We're excited to maybe peel back those layers, get to know the real Dustin Lynch.
Come on.
You know?
I got
Yeah.
nothing. I was telling some of my team what I was doing this week and starting with you guys. And a lot of them are fans. And they're like, oh, man,
Uh-oh.
Nick's going to go in on you. And I was like, what's great, though, is I have nothing to hide. Like,
That's good.
so at least I don't think I do.
Are you
Maybe
sure?
you will
'Cause I
find
was-
some dark corner that I haven't explored yet. But
I was Googling your ass, and it was hard to find some,
you know why? Because there's not like, I think which we can get into this and we probably will, but I think I've learned a lot about myself. I'm not a great multitasker. So like I've been uber focused on music and career, making sure I don't screw that up. And then uber focused on like building my home life personally, but I've neglected finding that person to do it with. Maybe right here at the Viall Files, this is my flag in the
There you
sand.
go.
We're going to raise it up
Yeah.
right now.
I love that.
and start the journey of figuring out, is life better with a plus one? I don't know.
It is.
I find it to be. Yeah.
I do miss, like, I look back on this past year and I haven't done like I don't know what you want to call it, a trip with a plus one that like extended amount of time. I got to do a couple last year and really loved that. Like just the mental break of going and exploring a new city with somebody. And I haven't done that this year and I kind of miss it.
So are you fully single at this point?
Yeah,
Okay.
I am.
When was your last, relationship? Not like date or anything like that, but like when you really were.
It would have been, I ended it, it ended March of 21.
Okay, so a bit
March or
now.
April. Yeah, it's been
Yeah.
a bit. But life got back to like normal then.
Yeah.
For me, touring and back to doing shows in 21 and then 22 was crazy. Even last year was kind of weird for us catching up on shows that have been moved a couple years, and this year's been pretty proper and scheduled out. So
You're ready.
I think I'm ready.
Woo!
Yeah, and honestly, like the creative process of an album, it takes a toll on me. I love to be alone and just think and work through what I want to say, and because albums are big moments. This is the 6th album we've got to record, Kill the Cowboys #6, which is cool. But it's like, what do I want to say? Like,
Yeah.
and how grown up do I need to be? I know at some point I've got to grow up a little bit,
Yeah.
with what songs I'm singing about. I can't sing.
Well, that's interesting. Yeah, that you're
Yeah, I
thinking
can't.
about
I
that.
can't
Yeah.
sing what I was singing about 10 years ago and
Sure,
feel. I mean, I
yeah.
still can because I'm still there. I'm still single and
Do you feel almost self-conscious a little bit?
a
when
little
you're,
bit.
Yeah, when
Yeah.
you're writing music.
Well, like a lot of my friends in country music are. This is what I think. This is a lot of pressure I feel, which is why I'm probably looking super inward right now. But a lot of my friends are married and have kids that I grew up, in the Nashville ranks, if you will. Like we moved to Nashville at the same time. We started playing bars at the same time. We started getting publishing deals
Right
and then record
around.
deals. And a lot of those guys have wives and kids. And here I am not getting invited to trick or treat nights and
oh, shit. Yeah.
and like the wives are steering that ship, right? I mean, the husbands,
Yeah.
like my artist buddies are not going, hey, we should do a caroling night. Like this is all the girls making all this
Yeah.
happen. But I feel like this loner out here
Yeah.
that doesn't get to go to this cool stuff with my buds. So yeah, there's some pressure coming. And the country music fans are absolutely avid supporters of personal lives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Outside of any other genre. I mean, without a doubt, like they're more invested. I toured with Thomas Rhett 2019 and TR and I have since day one. He was actually in college the first day I met him. I was riding with his dad, Rhett, and Rhett was like, hey, you mind if my son comes and grabs lunch with us? He's got, break or whatever. Yeah, sweet. It was Thomas Rhett.
Mhm.
We toured in 2019. So he and I go way back before we had anything going.
Wow.
And I'm standing on the side of the stage like the second weekend with Rhett, his dad. And I'm like, dude, how the hell did we get here? And Rhett said something. He goes, what's crazy is a lot of these people are here for Lauren and the kids as much as they are TR right now.
Yeah.
They're that invested in the family and his daughters, and God bless his soul. What's he got 3 or 4 now?
Yeah.
Girls. I mean,
I think 3.
we got to keep supporting Thomas Rhett. The man's got it coming.
There we go.
He's got a bunch of weddings on the
Yeah.
way.
But I see what you're saying, though. I was telling you before we started recording that I like recently got into country music. Natalie took
Yeah.
me to Stagecoach. And I think that was like the thing I noticed the most about just the atmosphere, other than like listening to all the great music, was like the community. The community was just all about just like family and connections and like, you know, the people you love. And it was just that's the vibe of that whole atmosphere was really great. And I think that's really kind of what drew me in to the music.
It is, yeah. And those festivals are so much fun because you have a lot of, you know, like-minded people like that are spending days at a time and getting to mingle. And well, I have to ask though, like there had to be a song or an artist that you were like, all right, I've never given this a chance, but I kind of dig this or that. Do you remember who
Dustin
it was?
Lynch, no.
No.
It was probably Zach Bryan, probably.
Was it?
Yeah, I think so. Nally and I listened to a lot
Yeah.
of his music. She was playing it, and I proposed to Nally with one of his songs playing. And so, yeah, it was just like kind of easy listening.
Who at Stagecoach? Because I feel like that was your first.
Chris Stapleton,
Yeah.
you know, like I always was a Tracy Chapman fan. Like that was my mom's favorite song.
Oh,
growing up.
Luke Combs.
Luke Combs. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm still learning. Luke Combs. Not that wasn't Stagecoach, but yeah, like Tracy Chapman, and he like redid that, and I really enjoyed that. But I'd probably say Zach Bryan. Like Zach Bryan was probably the first artist I started like turn on his whole album and like listen to it through, and I like on my own without Nally in the car with me. So like that was like the first time I noticed. I'm like, oh shit, man, I'm like really enjoying this stuff. Once you kind of break that seal, then I started like just listening to more music. I was driving Nally's car and she had the country, you know, radio station on, and shit in the past, I'd be like, click and turn it to something else. And now
like
I
so
just,
offended.
now
Yeah.
now I just listen to it. But like, I just never really gave it a chance.
I was like nervous to play country music in the car with him for a while because he'd be like, next, like not interested at all. And then finally I'm like, you're going to love this.
Some people have to grow up.
You have
right?
to love
some
this.
Some people have to grow up.
If we're going to be together,
Right?
you have to love this.
It really kind of took a hold of me, and I really enjoy it.
I just always love hearing what artists get you into a genre, you know. 'cause
Yeah.
then,
What was it for you? Who was it for you?
for country?
Yeah.
Oh gosh, that's tough. I mean, I've
Think
my
of
whole
Blood.
life I've known it.
Yeah.
You know, Alan Jackson and George Strait probably would be who I obsessed over as a kid and still do.
Baby, who did
Yeah.
we see at Stagecoach? He got the award, and Alan Jackson presented him the award.
John Party.
Yeah.
He got
when they
inducted
inducted
into
him to the Opry.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
were
That was so
there,
cool.
and like I just was really touched by like we were really close to the stage and really enjoyed his show.
Yeah.
And then he got done, and they presented the award, and like he got me all like choked up because I could see like here I'm seeing this like rock star country singer.
Yeah.
Everyone's singing, just like, oh, you're the best, right? But like he can't, and I saw like the boy who like you were talking about, like, how do we get here? And it was just like, you could see him just like have this holy shit moment. I mean, like, I can't believe I'm here. I can't believe I did this. And it was like such like a really cool moment to watch, and just kind of a humbling experience for him. But like, it's like you saw the man, not the star. And that, like, to me, that was really touching. And I feel like country artists do a better job of kind of connecting with their audience and like staying connected to their roots a little bit. Obviously, it's so much about like your lyrics and music seems to be about your roots. But I wonder if my interpretation's right, you know, as a country artist, because it just feels like, you know, you guys seem more relatable than say other, you know, musicians out there.
Yeah, I think, you know, there's probably a bit of acting that goes on. Oh, I know there is.
Okay.
I know there is. I mean, even honestly, even within our genre, or a little bit of an offshoot, like the more of the Americana, like I'm too cool for school. I'm not going to go do this because, you know, it's nice to have some mystery.
Okay.
You know, and I think, you know, in certain stratospheres of fame, country music is still very much so centered around the United States and Canada. And that's our big markets. Australia, Mexico actually is starting to really pick up some steam, which is exciting.
That makes sense, though.
Brazil is starting to really pick up some steam, which I'm super thrilled about to hear and would love to go tackle that at some point.
Yeah.
But, you know, streaming is still so new that before streaming, country music didn't exist anywhere except here in the States. Like even before my record label, probably the first half of my career, the gentleman that owned my record label, we were a private indie mom and pop type label. He just did not like Canada and would not service our music to Canada because he had a
who doesn't like Canada?
Yeah, I know, right? He had a beef with whatever taxation or distribution like deal that they had.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he's like, middle fingers, don't need you. And we're sitting here like, but we do need you.
Please.
So I'll still forget, like we were just up there playing with Keith Urban a couple weeks ago, and we go into this, one of our big hits off one of the first couple 3 albums, and I'm like, oh crap, forgot. We weren't up here during this stint of our career, and the crowd's looking at us like, is this new? Because they just, they don't know it. But streaming has opened those doors. So it's getting exciting. But to your point, I think because we're so involved with just the North America, and we tour so extensively in North America. I mean, we tour. I think I've been to every city and every town pretty much in the States at this point. I think there is that personal connection. We just see more of these the people, and we're able to tour more, I guess.
What are you most proud of when it comes to your new album?
Oh man, that's I haven't been asked that question about this album yet. I think just being vulnerable and having a bit of an openness of, hey, this is where I'm at. And I think I'm okay with it. I'm single. I'm 38 years old. It props up being like, and being okay with that. I have no regrets that, I'm sitting right here and like the things I've been able to accomplish and experience, but it's a struggle of like, if I give up that freedom and the adventure, am I going to be creative again? Can I be inspired to write? You asked, my last relationship ended in 21. It was about a 2-year relationship, long distance for a while. And then the pandemic kind of made us pull the trigger to move in together. We were actually out here living in Hermosa Beach whenever it got kind of weird. And I'm like, hey, let's get back.
Go.
Well, yeah, I was like, let's get to the farm in Tennessee because
you want space. Yeah.
Space and like, we know we can eat there. We can like go get something if we need it.
You're like, we can
literally
shoot it.
Yeah, literally go to the woods and get it. Not the grocery, go to the woods and get it. And so we did that, and that kind of forced us to move in, which was great because I think there's that, with long distance relationships, which I struggle with. I purposely have never dated anybody in Nashville because I just don't want the
small town.
Yeah, the circles like talking. And so I try to stay out of that world. So long distance is kind of what I've found some comfort in. But then I fall into like 2 weeks off, and then you see someone and it's 3 or 4 days of just awesomeness, and then you go miss them again. And then there's another great event. Like if she's coming to shows or, if it's a red carpet at like an award show or, we're going to do this thing. So the pandemic helped kind of remove all of that glossy space and fun that you would go, okay, well, when are we going to link up next? So-and-so's playing a concert or ball game. Let's go see them and support them. It took all that away. So then it's like, okay, now we have normal days.
Sure.
Yeah.
And I think I learned from that, like moving forward before any commitment's made, I'm going to have to for sure
have normal days.
Move in with someone or have them move in with me, vice versa, and have those normal days. Yeah. Because right away, you just start learning things that I don't think you ever see on those couple 3, days that you get every now and again.
What do you think is
He's got that smile on his face.
What do you think is the biggest challenge for someone to have a normal day with you? When someone moves in with you and starts to get to know all your little kind of picadillos and bad habits and things like that.
Oh, what's their biggest challenge being with me?
Yeah. Like, what do you think?
That's great. I think that I'd never like to slow down and stop. I've realized it's so funny. Like a lot of small talk, my circle is, sports. So it's like sports. But then you move into like, what are you watching?
Mm-hmm.
Who are your teams?
I'm a Titans fan, and my dad played for the Gators, so that's like my college, my pro football.
Okay,
we'll see what the Titans do. But right now, the Nashville Predators are our city's team, Nashville's team, hockey. So that's kind of who I follow.
The Titans are 1-1.
Yeah. Well, we got some building to do. But I think just not being able to slow down and staying on the go. I love tackling new things, and I was getting to the point of like I've realized I don't really watch any TV now that I haven't been in a relationship for 2.5 years. It's just not something like I'm going to go home and sit by myself and go
watch a series.
Yeah. I haven't done it. So I kind of miss that. This is really trivial, but like I miss going out to eat, like new restaurants. It's kind of like, how many times can you ask your boys to go eat?
Yeah, it was like more normal in the 20s when you had like nothing to do and you're like, hey guys, let's just go out and you'd all like, you didn't really, when we were like in our early 20s, it wasn't like, what are we going to hang out is where are we going?
Yeah.
Right. And you would just like roam as a group to like whatever new place.
Right.
Yeah. And as you got older, my friends all got married and had kids too. Yeah. It gets a little weirder where you're like, it's like a mandate, It
is. Yeah.
Like, dude, I've seen you 3 times already this week.
Yeah.
Like, that's enough.
What else do you want to talk about?
There's this great restaurant, dude. We should go check it out.
Yeah, for sure.
So I feel like I'm missing out on that. And we were talking before we started started filming here, taping. Nashville is really growing. Got some great restaurants and all that popping up. So yeah, raise the flag. It's time to go on dates again.
There we go.
What is your biggest challenge? I mean, other than obviously being famous, I mean, that's a challenge. But
I hear this all the time. Man, it must be tough finding somebody that you can trust.
sure,
And it's like, that sucks to hear.
I mean, it's
being
true.
where you are and all that. And it's like, I don't know, because it's been a weird year for me and my like close group of buddies. I would say like 5 of the 10 guys I hang out with the most have gone through or going through divorce right now in their 30s. And so, yeah, I don't know. Is
there a theme? I mean, every relationship is different and has their own struggles. Have you learned anything from your boys who are going through the divorce? Like, have they spoken to you about maybe regrets or things they gotten wrong? Do they speak to like maybe a moment where they feel like they kind of lost connection with their wives and things like that? Or is it just,
I think
life
probably
happened?
a little bit of the repercussion of us not touring.
Okay.
Because if you think about, we're doing for sure 75 cities, sometimes 100 in a year. And I've been blessed to have a lot of the same guys out on the road with me. So we all started in a van with single, living off Taco Bell and Jack Daniels, and that like life has progressed.
Sounds like a country song.
Wow.
I look back at old pictures of us and I'm like, yeah, you could tell that's what we were living off of. God, man. But we've gone from that. And so the girls that they met along the way, you guys remember how big spring break used to be in Panama City
Oh
Beach?
my God.
What the hell am I talking about before I get way off track? Guy, single, divorce.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. So Panama City Beach used to be like spring break.
I went there
mecca.
for spring break in
Nasty.
college. Yeah.
MTV made it famous.
I saw Steve-O there jumping off a.
It was like Eminem was like
Yeah.
one of the first guys ever to like Club La Vila, the phone
Yeah.
parties, the whole
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Oh my God.
So coming up, I think Kenny Chesney took over early on for the country side of those. And then Luke Bryan took it over from Kenny. And then some kind of way I just started manifesting like, I want to be next in line. Like Luke had gotten to where it's like, dude, you're a little too old to be here. And he kind of could.
Yeah.
He's like spring break. Woo!
Yeah. And so we come through town, and no kidding, and one weekend, 2 of my very dear friends end up meeting their wives at freaking Spinnaker spring break.
What?
Spinnakers.
Is that not crazy?
Yeah.
What are the odds of that?
Wow.
So go spring break.
How does spring break?
Meet your wives.
Yeah. But anyway, so you start there, and they've always missed their guys, right? I think, and I'm not talking about everybody, but like I think when schedules changed for the pandemic, I think it probably, just like in my relationship, it got real. Like, oh, you're not this person that I'm used to having gone 150 days a year.
Yeah.
And now you're here all of the days and you're annoying. I don't know. I'm just guessing, but like, it's weird to me that
It's an adjustment for sure.
that
Yeah.
many guys in my life are going through it. And you asked, what have I learned? That it sucks, it takes the wind out of everybody's sails, but a couple of guys, you can kind of see a weight lifted off their shoulders once they get to the other side of it.
Yeah.
I think maybe they were fighting it for a while, where it was kind of a drag before ripping the Band-Aid off happened. There's always light on the other side of that, I think.
For sure. Do you feel like there's just being a guy? What's your favorite thing about dating and what's your least favorite thing about dating? Like,
I think
what's your peak in your valley?
I get in my head, like least favorite thing for me is probably why I haven't allowed myself to date in Nashville. I just don't, I'm scared of the gossip that happens afterwards, I feel like as guys, like I'm not going to go back on tour and be like, man, so this is how this date went. And then they're not going to give a crap to ask me about her or, it doesn't get that deep with us guys.
Sure.
And I just know with girls, because I've seen it, it's just,
Those group chats.
man, it's just going to be,
They be talking about
Broadway.
you.
We know everything.
I know. And I think I see that through just girls that I work with. And that's probably the scariest thing. My favorite thing is honestly like the conversation and the excitement of getting to know somebody. Like I think I do enough talking on camera and like interviews to where I can sit across the table from somebody and just, you have to, I would think like either I'm going to have an off day or the person across from me has to absolutely suck if we can't keep a good conversation going. Cause I'm just so used to, and what's so bizarre is like, I'm an introvert.
You are? Yeah.
Big time, man. That's why I started guitar in high school and just, it's like, how do and maybe I still don't know how to talk to girls in public settings. I don't because I don't have any time. I've never really had any time. Starting in college, I was on stage a lot of the nights we were out. playing college bars, or then we moved on to playing like frat parties and sorority events all over the Southeast. And so that's a hell of a crutch. You know what I mean? Like there's not that, okay, I'm here, she's there, the band's there. How do I get her over there with me on the dance floor? Like if you and I went out tonight in LA, I would be terrified.
Well, LA is
to approach.
LA women are terrifying in
well,
general.
But like just to approach.
I see what you're saying.
Because I've always had the crutch of when I'm out, and especially now, like I don't go out. And when we're doing concert stops, like we'll have friends backstage, but there's no hang time for me publicly.
So how are you meeting? How do you want to meet someone if
that's
you're
what
not?
I got to work on.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we're going to figure out today, right here.
Are you like a dating app?
I want a game plan. By the time I leave this couch, I want a game plan and a playbook.
Okay, perfect. We'll write it out.
Yeah.
Woo, that's a lot of pressure.
Well, I DM'd Nick on Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think social media is very helpful, but I've learned
But you got to be safe. You got,
you got to be. I've learned like early on, and I kind of regret like not jumping out here earlier in my career. But I realized early on, it's easy to create this character in your head about somebody just based on watching them online or meeting them at a party or something, then following them and then watching their life online. And then you actually hang out with them and you're like, oh,
yeah, that doesn't match up.
So yeah, I think you still have to get in there and get in the trenches and actually, get real.
Well, I mean, like we have like a few 100,000 women listening to this. What's your type?
I think I have it figured out, man. I think like I'm in love with great big personalities right now.
Okay.
And
do you find that like I'm a bit of an introvert as well? Like I feel like I can be a big personality at times when I need to be, but generally speaking, I could be more reserved. And like I feel like Natalie is a much bigger personality that I feel like balances me out. And I've always been drawn to like generally like bigger personalities. I've finally found a big personality that I enjoy.
Yeah,
and
that compliments me all the time.
Yeah, because sometimes,
like you,
well, I found, in the past, I made the mistake of confusing big personality with like someone who I just didn't find to be, I guess, in the long run, kind, or just complimented me. So yeah, like just because a big personality can like be like a shiny new toy that you see and you're drawn to, and then you realize, hey, you're a great person, but maybe not for me.
And I've found like a big personality can happen for a few times, and then you realize, oh, it's just the act is over.
Yeah,
their shtick is the shtick. I've had that. But you said complimented, and I think for me, like I've learned, like I have to be around a very diverse group of people. There has to be ambitions professionally for me right now, just because if I'm sitting at a table with guys and girls that have gone through it already and are well above me in years, substance, and being able to hold conversation and be able to talk about ambitions and plans with life, and that's important. And I've found myself in situations where my plus one hasn't had a lot to say, and that's I think also a reason like I'm so guarded on letting myself bring along another, because I don't want it to be a negative. I don't want to walk away and it be a negative. So
what do you mean by that?
If I'm like, hey, we're going to go to this event, ask a girl to be a plus one, join. Sure. I mean, like I have to, I guess I want to be comfortable with knowing what they're going to bring to the table. If, I don't know, we're sitting at a table and
like a social
name
liability.
The artist and his wife and his wife and my girl have to start talking. I need it to be a win.
You
can't just bring some person you meet online or some girl you met at a bar who you might have thought might.
I went through one of these last
fall. Do you have a story where it went south?
Yeah, I went through one of these last fall.
You're like grinning. You're like, please tell me.
I love an awkward story.
and I thought I had figured it out, where we had hung enough, and she was super sweet, and around me was fine, but then when we go to this dinner, it was just lockjaw, and it was just painful, man. Like the husband and the wife were asking questions and barely getting answers, and I was like, no, because deep down inside, I wanted it to work so bad.
You wanted to like wow them.
So
that could be maybe like your biggest struggle as someone in your shoes. It's just you need someone who can kind of hold their own and act as if type of thing. I felt like I had that struggle a little bit. Like I'm not quite, in your shoes or at your level, and no, I'm not on stage and things like that. But I had a public platform, and dating was complicated coming from the Bachelor franchise and people only knowing you as like your dating history. And so I dated other celebrities and I dated other people in the business type of thing. But like meeting Natalie, she was a small town girl, but at the same time.
And you guys met how?
I DM'd him on
She
Instagram.
slid in my DMs.
I lived in Georgia.
Yeah.
He lived here.
But she could, like, when I would bring her around friends, she did just what you kind of described. She like held her own, you know,
Yeah.
and I didn't feel like I had to always like make sure she was okay. You know, I like making sure she's okay, but like she could like hang with my friends, and it didn't matter whether I was hanging with like my family or like my hometown friends or friends from LA that, you know, the kind of a scene-y.
Right.
She could always just adapt. And that made me feel very comfortable and kind of safe in a sense. So I totally get what you're saying.
I've learned, I'm in a lot of situations where I have to, quote, work the room.
Yeah.
You know, even if it's like we set up tents and stuff backstage where we host friends, and
Mhm.
we'll have to have you guys out now.
I'd love to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be fun. But, you know, a big group will show up and it's like, okay, I got to make my rounds. And just like you were saying, like with Natalie, I have to have somebody that can be okay with talking to maybe people they don't know or care about
Yeah. Yeah.
for an hour while I go,
And
you
do
know,
your
talk to
work.
whoever it is, whether it's radio folks or, you know, anybody in the industry or just friends or family or whatever.
What's your love languages?
Get me started. I can get there.
Okay. So we got,
Y'all pass it
physical-
around and then I'll figure mine out.
we have
Natalie's is everything.
everything. That is
all,
everything.
all of the above.
So what the love languages are: physical touch,
Quality
gifts,
time,
quality time,
acts
gifts,
of service,
acts of service, gifts,
Receiving
Gifts.
gifts.
Words of affirmation.
words of affirmation. That's the 5. Yeah.
Mhm.
So words of affirmation, like you like to be complimented, you know,
Reassured.
or reassured, told, you know,
I love that.
verbalized.
I love, what was the,
There's physical touch, like, you know, holding hands, kind of caressing all the time, just always, you know, touching on each other.
Acts of service.
Acts of service.
They make you
What?
coffee. They
acts of service? I've learned, I would say in the past year, and it's nothing crazy, but just like simple pick up the ball if I drop it here or there
Yeah.
is huge for me.
That's how you like to receive love too. I've always been an active service guy. Like that's how I also show love. Like
Mhm.
I like to do things for my people type of thing. But I realize that I probably enjoy receiving it more than I thought in the past, you know? And like me doing it was almost a way of me kind of telling my partners that like
Oh, interesting.
this is how I like to receive love
Yeah.
too. You
I wonder
know?
if that's why I like to host so much. Like I love hosting days, evenings,
Okay.
whatever, you know, when I have time with friends. And yeah, that's, I can see the connection there.
And when you host, who are you bringing over? You bringing your boys and their wives?
Yeah.
Do you like to be set up?
I don't mind it. I don't think it's ever worked.
Yeah.
The problem with this setup for me, like, okay, a typical fun day if I'm hosting is I love to be on the water. So we'll get the boats out.
I saw that on your Instagram
And,
page. Yeah.
Yeah, say somebody was like, hey, this, you know, my friend or whatever, friend of a friend that we really want you to meet. And then I feel like I have those people watching us. It's like this audience
Yeah.
watching.
Yeah.
the
They're like,
first
this is the next season of The
It's like,
Bachelor.
why is,
Yeah.
why is he not swimming over to her right
Yeah.
now? It's like, I don't like that, man.
Yeah.
It hasn't worked
Yeah,
yet.
that's brutal.
Yeah. You know, just talking through friends is like, maybe that's how it finally works out for me, you know, where it's kind of just friend groups and timing's right. And I don't know. But I don't think it could be a setup where
I
it's
think
like,
s- I
hey,
think-
we're bringing over, you know,
Girl, yeah.
this
I
girl.
hate
and-
setups. I just never like, you know, girls, they love to prop up their friends, you know. You're a beautiful queen, you're the best, and like they are beautiful, but like it's just like girls will gas up their friends so much that they forget that like maybe they're just like not my type, you know? Like it's like, yeah, no, they're great,
I
you
get
know? Like but like she's the best. And I'm like, no, she is, but like just not for me, you
But
know.
I'm still like, I also have learned, at least, I want to say my family, but my friends, I've learned to pick up on their context clues of if they endorse somebody or not through the years of just like probably doing it the wrong way enough to where, you know, like when you break something off, your friends are finally like honest with you, like, dude, she sucked.
Yeah.
I've had
It's
that a
like-
couple times.
And then like I've probably just been ignoring a little bit of them, not the negatives, but there's not any positives coming.
Yeah.
Her
Yeah.
direction.
Yeah.
So I think I've gotten better at picking up on those. And
She's nice. She's just nice.
yeah, exactly.
Right.
So I don't know. I'm a work in progress, as we can see.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah.
Shit. I mean, how old, you know, you're 38?
38. Yep.
Yeah.
When I met Nick.
Yeah.
What was your slide? I'm intrigued.
I just saw a photo of him on my explore page
Yeah.
on Instagram, and I just sent that photo to him and said, "You're unreal."
Yeah.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah,
You know,
groundbreaking. And yeah, he quickly responded.
I mean,
Well, it was like 2
Yeah.
hours. So,
12 hours. Yeah.
I mean, that's gonna make anybody's day.
well, I mean, that was the hope for sure that
Yeah.
he would at least be like, "Thanks," but it actually went somewhere. But it took 10 months of him denying me to actually want to date. So
Yeah.
maybe you might go through that.
What do you mean denying you?
I would come to him and be like, "Listen, like I like you. We were hanging out we were long distance. I was in Georgia and he was in LA, and I'd fly out here for a weekend and we'd do that whole thing that you
Oh,
were just
yeah.
talking about."
Yep.
And finally got to a point where I was like, "Listen, like I like you. I would love to date you." And he was like, "No." And I was like, "Okay, perfect." And I'd circle back a couple months later and be like, "Hey, just want to let you know, I do still like you and would love to date you." And he's like, "No, thanks." That happened a couple more times.
No,
I was like, "That sounds
thank you.
fun, but
Yeah.
I'm good." And then finally, I
How
was
many
like,
words did it take to beat around the bush to say no thanks, though?
I'm pretty direct. So
Yeah.
I was like,
Really?
I'm sorry. No.
yeah, that's kind of how it was.
I had my own reservations.
That's
but,
unbelievable.
yeah.
That you would actually.
No, I know.
And
I know.
And the fact that I
know.
like stuck around and kept asking, but finally I was like, "Okay, I'm done with this.
And
Like
then I
I'm moving on."
panicked.
And
Yeah, I had a meltdown.
Oh, that's what it needed. Okay.
Mhm.
I get it.
Yeah.
Are your DMs open?
Yeah.
They are.
It's wild too. You know what? We try to. I constantly create music and write and record, but really packaging an album and releasing it, like we had started kind of, I don't know, a week or two ago, putting out, hey, new album coming, new artwork, drop a new song here and there. I've realized recently, like every time we drop a new song, it's an open invitation for people from my past, or
Oh yeah. Love the new
That's
song. Hope you're doing well.
that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's totally like this. Like I'm harmless, but
Yeah.
we should hang
Still
out
here.
again. Or
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's
always weird.
that's been a new thing the past couple of weeks. So it's gotten pretty active.
Yeah.
Do you have a one that got away, or somebody who's
I
just been
do.
kind of like,
You do.
I do, yeah. Well, I don't know. Like you say, one that got away. That means that makes me feel like it's still an option, and it's not an option.
Okay. How did you first take it though?
It sucked, man. So I dated this girl that I was completely in love with, and I went to college to be, and I was pre-med, so I was in her mind, in her family's mind, and in my family's mind,
Doctor.
going to be a doctor, which is a pretty secure.
Sexy. Hot.
It's a pretty secure.
Yeah. Yeah.
We love a doctor.
And then I had to make the decision. I just had this what if. Like I was having so much fun. I was getting paid in college to go to frat parties, y'all. Like that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So I had to make this decision. Like, hey, do I hang this up? I really want to do music for a living. It's ridiculous to think you can pull it off, but I couldn't live with the what if.
Yeah.
And so I put med school on the back burner, and she hung in there with me for, I don't know, maybe almost a year. And then I think reality hit to where it was like, I'm living in this crummy rental house with 2 other musicians that are just getting going. And like the glam of he's going to med school and
And
that
she was
whole
kind of
thing is
ready.
gone.
Yeah.
She had this.
So I got axed, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that stunk because I was like, this is the one, right? We're going to do it. We're going to do it.
Did it break your heart?
Yeah, bad. I mean, I was best friends with the John Mayer album for a long time after that.
Shit. Yeah. Yeah. I know.
Continuum
Next
hit
time
started
I've
to
been there.
hit. Continuum started to hit different, man.
We're kindred spirits. Yeah. I listened to a lot of John Mayer for heartbreaks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Come back to bed.
It's
What is
amazing.
that
They're like, I kind of like, this is probably a little bit of the Taylor Swift in me, if you will, but like I kind of love in a way going through breakups as a songwriter, but also just as a music fan, because songs hit different, man. When you're feeling it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you start noticing lyrics, and
Yeah, you feel like every song is written for you.
I know.
You're like,
yeah.
oh, this is so me. This is so us.
but like right
ah.
now, I'll be completely numb to relating to a song like that. I would say right now, the song I relate to the most is, and you said Chris Stapleton earlier, is his song White Horse.
Mm.
Y'all heard that song?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one's damn
Love
good.
it. Love
Yeah.
it, love it, love it.
What do you relate to the most about it?
What's the lyric at the end of the chorus?
I ain't there yet.
I ain't there yet.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like I'm kind of that character right now. And he's realizing he wants something, but still trying to find what it is.
And do you feel like that's you? Like, what do you feel like you're searching for? So do you, I mean, I guess the question, do you feel like you're 38, you're at the point where, your buddies have gotten married, have kids, and you're ready, you just haven't found it, or do you feel like you're still?
I don't know if I'm
like
ready. Like I
not-
don't want to be direct and go, this is it.
Yeah.
I'm finding somebody and I'm doing the thing. I want it to be more natural, but then I question, am I letting it be? Am I open enough to, letting it be a natural thing?
Well,
I
I
don't know.
mean, I know I get a lot of shit for, how Nell and I met, but that was kind of part of it too. I had been single for a long time. I was serial monogamous in my 20s. I had 3 serious relationships that ended for a variety of reasons, but it kind of took up most of my 20s. And then after my whole like bachelor experience, I was pretty much just single. And part of it was just like, I wasn't really sure like what I was looking for type of thing. I had a hard time kind of figuring out like what I was looking for or what I needed. And then when I met Natalie, I still felt like it almost like I needed her patience to kind of like shake me out of my own kind of shell. And I was really comfortable being alone, and I was comfortable being set in my ways that I needed to kind of like almost like wake up to like be willing to like jump into something, because it was like, well, what am I?
Are you talking about me right now? I feel like you are.
I was talking about me, but like as I hear you speak, it very much reminded me of like, how I was,
Yeah, I'm really comfortable.
Yeah.
I spent a lot of time kind of getting some things I wanted in life in place. And now it's like, okay, what's the next level? I don't know. I think this album's really discovering like, it's the best version of me in 5, 10, 20 years. Man, the ongoing battle of do I want kids? Do I not? Am I weird if I don't?
Yeah. Do you feel self-conscious about that? Not wanting to have kids, possibly?
I love the idea of helping kids. I don't know if I love the idea of 0 to screaming years through, like to data. I don't know. I value my time that I have off. I don't know if I'm.
Do you feel judged for it sometimes?
Absolutely. Yeah. But then I have friends that don't have kids that are up in their years and that have adopted and changed kids' lives in an incredible way that had no chance. That's amazing. And I've had guys and girls, that are older that decided to have kids and love it. So I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm still that's one of the big question marks right now. I feel like my dating pool goes out the door pretty quick if I say I don't want kids.
Sure.
Which is probably why I also can't answer that question.
Yeah, but it's a tough one because it is something that a lot of people, there's a lot of people who aren't ready or don't want kids or just unsure,
Did you guys decide you wanted kids?
Yeah.
I knew.
Was that a
always...
conversation early on when you were dating?
It wasn't really a conversation. It was always I always wanted to, and she always wanted to. So we didn't really have to like talk about it. It just at some point, I think we both mentioned that we do.
I noticed how much fun I'm having with my niece and nephew and my close friends' kids. Just teaching them I have a farm, so like bringing them out, and teaching them how to do stuff. And fish and surf and I don't know. Something intrigues me about it being my own.
A little Dustin walking around.
Yeah, it could be cool.
Hey, daddy.
And then I'm around kids,
that are
in an airport or whatever. I'm like, nah.
Yeah.
Airport will make you not want to have kids for sure.
For sure.
Yeah.
Surely my kid wouldn't be like that. It's like, I don't know.
Also, I think it's different when they're 4 or 5 and you can talk to them and do stuff with them. And then when they're babies and they're just screaming, it's like, no, I think I'm okay.
Yeah, but Natalie, it just doesn't work out where I can't give them away for 4 years and then come back.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. You'd have to take them from the jump. That's true.
Do you think you have a selfish side to you?
Oh, big time. Yeah, absolutely, man. I think that's something that is probably as you speak of you, but you're speaking of me in a very sly way over there.
Was me.
I think I think selfish is definitely something that I've had to build and learn through the years of like professionally, like sticking up for myself, and what I do. And there's a lot of probably a control issue that I have.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you. I feel like you really value stability more than the next person.
Yeah, that's probably what I'm trying to let go of and get out there a little bit.
No, I very much relate to that too. Because again, I went from this life of selling software, a very normal like corporate job, and then I was like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna move out to LA and see what I can do." And I was just like living in my buddy's house, just felt very unsettled, And so even though I was dating and meeting people, I knew deep down I was like, I just don't feel like I'm my best self right now. You know, I value that stability. You know, I've wanted to feel good about myself first, and I wanted to meet my goals, you know, but I feel like now I wonder, now that you are kind of on top of the world and your career's, you know, just on this amazing rise, that you really have settled into being Dustin Lynch, the country music star, and you're no longer trying, like, you've made it, you know, and your career's only on the way up now. And I wonder now if, like, maybe you are more kind of, your heart's a little bit more open and you're a little more settled because you have that stability. You got that farmhouse, you're hosting, and now it's just like the only thing that's missing maybe is that partner in crime.
Yeah, I think it's unlocking the next level.
Yeah.
You know, for me, if we put it like that, having somebody in my past, like the ups and downs of the music industry, it's nice to have somebody there to celebrate it with. It's cool to have the band guys and everything in my family, but to have a girl at the house that's there for you on the good days and the bad. Well, there's a bunch of them.
Mhm.
Even if the career is going up, there's still a bunch of days that are
Sure,
tough.
yeah.
Put out music sucks sometimes, man, because like we put out a song. It's so funny. This is how volatile putting out music is, right? So yesterday on the phone, we're talking with my team, and it's like, man, the feedback on this song, Chevrolet, that we put out with Jelly Roll recently, you know, this is what we're hearing. And on my side, I'm getting unsolicited text from the gatekeepers and tastemakers in my world. They don't do this all the time because I've put out a bunch of music, and I'm getting texts going, man, this is such a great moment, blah, 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 blah. And then I wake up this morning and I see a review online, and out of 10, I got a 0.5.
Oh no.
On this song.
And that's what you hold on to.
And so it's like,
Is it
now
just one review though?
yeah, and this
Yeah.
this particular outlet hates my guts because I'm, you know, label me whatever you want, but they lean more like, that ain't real country. And so it's one of those things, but it's still, you want everybody to love what you do, and it's never going to happen for any artist. But that's the ups and downs of, like, I've learned to let that roll off my shoulders, but there still are days where it's like, it's frustrating,
Fuck yeah.
you know, for this or that with anybody I know in their paths. But for mine, it is music and releasing it, and to have somebody there for those is great.
How do you get yourself out of those ruts now?
Man, I think I have to go in and create again. The tough part about creating music for me is being a bit of a workaholic and trying to force things. You know, you want to stay busy, but when you're creating songs, if you're not in that flow state where it's coming easy and fun, I've had to teach myself, it's okay to not work for a few months on trying to write songs and go live a little bit and feel something, you know, go get inspired, go out and do stuff with friends. And then when I come back and I write, you know, the feeling whenever we get a song that feels a little bit special and different, and then I'm still addicted to hearing it on speakers in my truck. That hasn't changed since day one. I think that's what gets me out of it.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, oh, this is why. Like, there's this song called George Strait Jr. on the album, and it took us 2 years to write the damn thing because I knew we didn't have it right. We just kept going back and trying to figure out how to get it right. And on the way home from recording the demo, I played it, and it still makes me tear up. Like, because I was like, we got it. You know, it's like 2 years of grinding away at this song, and like, boom, there it is. It made me feel what I knew it should make me feel. Then I'm like so excited. Then of course you put it out and hope people like it.
Sure.
Which isn't always the case, but that's what keeps it fun.
What's been the coolest moment of your career?
I'm glad you circle back to that, because I wanted to talk about the Opry a little bit earlier when you mentioned John Party and Alan Jackson came out and invited him to be a member of the Opry. The Opry is an institution that, for a lot of your listeners, maybe they don't know what that is. It's an institution that has been around since the 20s, I think. It was the original radio show that was broadcasted on AM radio. It was like one of the first entertainment outlets that people could tune into in this country. And it hasn't missed a Saturday taping since, even through all the wars, through the flood. Like, it flooded, we had a big flood in Nashville. Through COVID, we still were taping and recording just with nobody in the building, which was an incredible experience. I would say, you know, one of my proudest moments is being invited to be a part of that. Just the legacy it has. Like, a lot of my heroes are a part of the Opry family, and were inducted to be that. And it happened shockingly early in my career, but I think it happened because they knew how much I loved. You know, I grew up watching and listening to the Opry. That's kind of how I was consuming country music before streaming was out. You had the radio and you had the Opry. And so the Opry was a big part of why I was a fan and wanted to move to Nashville. So getting inducted to be a member of that family is way up on the mountain. as coolest
That's
things
awesome.
that I've accomplished, because it showed me that friends and peers in the industry thought enough of me to be a part of that, you know, and not everybody is. And I get to be a face and carry the torch for country music across the world. And that's just really special. And, you know, I see we'll go and we'll play shows there. And if you guys ever get to come to Nashville, please let me know. Would love to have you out. But you've got artists that are in their 80s playing, and right now it's taping on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Fridays, Saturdays, I think. But they're going in and they're playing with their bands, and it's like, man, to see that and know that if I can make it there, if I'm blessed enough to be able to sing and play at that age, I'm going to have that opportunity is really cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, you ready to give some relationship advice, Dustin?
I was saying, everybody in this room,
Dustin, we learn through our mistakes.
the least experienced man. Yes.
Nonsense. Yeah, nonsense. We'll give it a shot. All right, let's go. Texting office hours. How much money are you wasting on apps that you don't use anymore? Well, if you are an average American, you are probably spending hundreds on apps that you're not using. Rocket Money customers have saved an average of $720 a year just by using their app. Rocket Money will identify and cancel apps that you're not using. Amazing. They can also, get this, negotiate and lower your monthly bills for you. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps you lower your bills all in one place. Most people think that you're spending $80 or so on their subscriptions. Well, in reality, that number is closer to $200. When you sign up for so many things like streaming services, other like apps that, you know, like some sort of calculator or some sort of workout app or whatever it is, maybe it's a design app, it doesn't matter, but then you stop using it and you forgot all about it, you're still paying for it. Let Rocket Money identify those, cut them off, cancel them. Rocket Money can even negotiate and lower your bill for you by up to 20%. All you have to do is take a picture of your bill and Rocket Money takes care of the rest. That is incredible. So if you little help when it comes to managing your money and your finances, and you just are tired of wasting money, if money is a little tight, let Rocket Money find some money for you. There's no better feeling than finding that $20 bill in the couch seat or in your, you know, in the laundry. Well, with Rocket Money, it's like finding hundreds of dollars in the laundry or in the couch. Stop wasting money on things you don't use. Cancel unwanted subscriptions and manage your money the easy way by going to rocketmoney.com/VIALL. That's rocketmoney.com/VIALL. rocketmoney.com/VIALL. Quip is changing the game, the oral game. They're dominating the oral game. If you are tired of overspending on electric toothbrushes, you got to check out Quip. They have some really sleek toothbrushes. Also, like if you're an on-the-go person, if you travel, that's what I love Quip. It's really easy. They have a nice little travel container for your electric toothbrush. Before I had Quip, it was like, I don't want to take my electric toothbrush on the road because I don't want it to contaminate the brushes and things like that. But Quip, just put it in that little tube, bam, put it in your carry-on, away you go.
Something amazing about Quip is that every 30 seconds, it does a little pulse. This is so that way you can kind of divide your mouth up into quadrants to make sure, like, not only are you actually brushing for 2 minutes, but that you're evenly dispersing those 2 minutes. And I have to say, like, I'm pretty good about brushing my teeth, like, consistently, but like the amount of time that I think I was stopping after a minute, if I'm being honest. And so now with Quip, it's like, makes it so much easier to make sure I'm actually brushing for the dentist recommended amount of time.
I'm definitely not replacing my toothbrush head as much as I should be. And I love like a kind of inexpensive subscription service that just kind of takes that thought away from you. And they will send you new ones for just $7 every once in a while. And that's not just a brush head, that's also fresh floss, toothpaste, mouthwash, gum refills.
Oh.
Every 3 months.
If you go to quip.com/VIALL right now, you'll get 20% off any electric toothbrush, mint gum dispenser, water flosser at getquip.com/VIALL. That's GETQUIP.com/VIALL. Quip, the good habits company. How's it going?
Hi, my name is Anna. I'm 25 years old, and I need some help deciding how to tell my sister that my brother-in-law has been crossing normal brother-sister boundaries with me over text.
Okay. And you're thinking about blocking him?
Yes.
Okay. You sent in a novel of text messages. Is it mostly via text messages?
It has only been over text message. We don't live in the same state, so the only times that we're able to really see each other is over holidays, and it never comes up when we're in person.
So, yeah, just tell us more. Like, what's happening here? Set the stage. Tell the story. How did it happen?
Buckle up.
All right.
My brother-in-law has been texting me probably on a daily basis, consistently throughout just the workday, not normally post work hours. If I don't respond, he will continue to text me multiple times, often following up on his own commentary. Sometimes he will make some pretty sexist comments. If I call out a sexist comment, he'll begin to rationalize it and then continually respond to himself until I answer, which is usually 15-minute increments until I answer. I'd say that this has been going on for about 10 months. The text started conveniently after my ex and I broke up last fall. It started as just game pigeon games, like the little iPhone games you play back and forth.
But like, who started that?
It started with him. I thought this was him just checking in with me. He plays it with my little brother as well. So I thought it was just trying to be nice.
I feel like you only play those video games with people like you're flirting with.
He's also only texting during work hours because that's when he's away from your sister.
How many times have you guys hung out in person?
We've never hung out one-on-one. My sister's always there. It's always family.
But like when they were dating, engaged, like how many years, how many times do you think?
I've known him since I was about 10 because he's been a family friend for a long time.
Got it.
He and my sister started dating much later, got engaged very quickly after dating, married probably a year and a half later.
How long have they been married for?
They've been married for 2 years.
Okay.
But like every like family holiday, like Thanksgiving, Christmas, do y'all live in the same state?
No, we do not. So it's whenever we see each other for holidays, really, or just a random offset trip, usually for me seeing my sister, not him.
We got to read some of these text messages.
Yeah, this is...
Yeah. Do you have a favorite, Dustin?
He said, also, I love the top you were wearing on TV. Super pretty color.
Thank you. Had a fun time going on the taping.
And then this is where it gets bizarre for me. Do you consider that top blue or green? Often men and women see shades differently for some reason. Doesn't respond. And then he says, I would say it's a beautiful shade of blue. Doesn't respond. And then I don't know how many days later, he says, staying home, ... I could get used to this, wink face.
Ooh. Yuck.
I just, now, you may know the context of why that was sent. We don't. But to me, I'm going...
I mean, there's so many where he just doesn't stop.
Do you think he, like, because I keep seeing he's sending CEOs, professional, you ladies are taking over. Is he, in a weird way, trying, do you think, to encourage? Like, what is your professional path?
I think that if we're talking traditional, non-traditional, I think I take a non-traditional viewpoint of women in the workplace. I think we should be in the workplace. I think it's really cool that we are. I think the biggest difference between my sister and I is that I don't automatically assume that the woman should be the homemaker or care for a family just because she's a woman. I believe it should be a choice. And I think my sister takes a more traditional viewpoint on that. So I think my brother-in-law kind of takes a similar one as well, where I think they both know that I want to have a career even when I have children. I'm very proud of my career. I've worked hard and I will continue to do so regardless of where my family status is in the future. And I think that they just kind of talk about it in a different way. It's coming from a very, I guess, like conservative point of view on family and women in the workplace.
Well, and some of the texts are being surprised that he's working with women or commenting on how many women are going to college these days. Like, it seems very antiquated.
He says things might actually be objectively better once you ladies rule the world. As a guy, it pains me to admit it, but it might very well be the case.
I must get a mani-pedi in punishment for my error. I'm very excited, he writes. What's his error?
It was a game pigeon error. I think things started to get inappropriate to me when he would make comments about how I choose to do my nails or how I choose to dress. And he would talk about comments like punishments or rewards for winning or losing a game pigeon game. And at first I thought it was kind of like a joke. It was weird, but it was a joke. And then I realized more and more, this is so inappropriate. I do not like it. And I don't want it to continue.
And then you write, I don't think that's a punishment. He writes, he. Yeah, now I have an incentive to throw our games. so I can get treatments on the regular. Okay. And then he writes, I'm a naughty minx, haha. And then you write, I
That's
can't
crazy.
text. And then you write,
That is nuts.
really
Minx?
crazy.
I can't
Naughty
text
minx?
during the workday. Honestly, the comments you frequently make generalizing about women are sexist and make me uncomfortable to receive. I'd prefer you didn't send those types of comments to me. And then he writes, truly no worries at all. I didn't want to bother you. And I'm sorry, I haven't meant anything that way. I thank you for telling me, and I will absolutely refrain from that moving forward. I appreciate you saying so. Okay.
That happened after I called my mom last week because I hit my breaking point. I completely broke down. He made one last sexist comment and I got very uncomfortable. I refused to reply. He sent probably 8 to 11 text messages following up on his comment. I got extremely uncomfortable, called my mom, cried to her about it, told her the whole thing. My mom told me I should just ignore it. I don't think that was the right thing to do. I felt as though she wasn't really taking me seriously. And then we came up with those 2 text messages that you just read out loud. The first being, I can't text during the workday. And the second being, don't send me sexist comments. And since then, that happened this last week. That happened last Thursday. Monday morning rolls around and he's already broken the boundary that I tried to establish by texting me mid-morning on a Monday.
And then on Wednesday, sending it's hump day.
Yeah. But then he wants to talk about Aaron Rodgers' torn Achilles. So, okay.
I'm just wondering because it's, probably really complicated, like understanding how to factor in your sister with this, where I totally understand, like, this is kind of, she's not a part of the uncomfortable messages, but also like she's sort of the reason that you're connected to him. And so I'm curious for you, like, how has the sister been a role? Is that like, does it feel like she would be a resource? Do you have a sense of whether she might like be helpful, kind of take your side or see where you're coming from? Or does it seem like something where she might get a little more defensive and it's not worth trying to bring her in?
So I think this is where it gets a little bit more complex, is that my sister is not a texter and never has been since God knows how long. Whenever we got our phones in junior high, she just never texts. So I know that she's not texting her husband in this way during the day because she doesn't text, period. The times where my sister and I do connect is over the phone. And usually we talk for about like 2 hours on the phone every week, which I find is our way to like heart to heart. However, she would definitely take her husband's side. So I'm not sure how this would go across. I don't even know if I should tell her.
What do you think her side, like what side is that, I guess is my question.
Like, you're just being dramatic, Anna. What are you talking about, Anna? You're being so crazy. Why are you making this a big deal when it's not? That kind of thing.
Okay.
I mean, not knowing them, and I'm on your team because I kind of know you right now.
Thanks.
I think you absolutely have to tell her, because the next family function you go to, even if she disagrees with you, at least it's out there. And then you say that she doesn't text. So it kind of cuts, in my opinion, it cuts him some slack on, in a way. It's like if he's not texting her and if he feels comfortable, I don't know what y'all's past, if he feels comfortable texting you, that may be why it's so heavy up front. But obviously now things have changed because you've let him know what's up.
Question. Have you ever just tried not ever replying ever again?
Yes. I get probably 15 to 20 text messages if I don't reply.
Okay.
Yeah, that calls for blocking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. It's like you could have just been like, all right, I'm going to do what my sister does and not text, and then he'll just stop. But he doesn't. And that's weird. It's just weird. There's no other way to look at it. I don't know. And I'm not saying he's trying to like make a move on you. I don't know why he is doing what he's doing, but it's a bit inappropriate and it's a little aggressive and it's fucking weird. It's just weird.
I would say weird's, that would be the word I would use.
There's no reason for him to be talking to you this much. It's like he's doing this out of boredom or out, like there's no reason behind any of these texts.
But what does blocking accomplish?
Well, then he knows that, like, okay, I guess the boundary's set.
I look at like, what's the next in-person
Yeah, it is difficult because it's family.
if you block?
I mean, I think it'll be awkward regardless. Like, it'll be awkward because, like, you've obviously had to be like, stop sending me these messages, and he won't stop, and that's like uncomfortable in itself. And then if you block him, I don't think he would ever, like, that would never leave the two of you if you didn't like want, you know, like he's not going to go to Thanksgiving and be like, well, Anna blocked me this weekend, you know, like I don't think that would be a topic of conversation.
Do you think Natalie's right about that? Do you think he would tell your sister that she blocked him?
I have no idea. The only times that I've heard him refer to us texting or the comments that he's made to me are like, oh, I played Anna in this game pigeon game and it was a really tight game. And he'll tell my sister that in front of me openly. I've heard that before.
So
and
he's
that's weird to me.
It's like he's doing the
Like, what
game
the fuck?
pigeon, so he has something to block off the naughty minx and nail comments and women going to college. Like he's leading with games, so he has something to talk about.
Yeah, that's a good
You'd be
point.
like, no, I told you. We just play game pigeon. I told you.
Do you think, you know, knowing that it's not exactly clear how it might play out with your family, like does blocking him feel like a solution, or do you feel like you would feel like you need more kind of like advice or stuff to kind of like the possible ways that it could go down, and like you want like more insight on how to navigate that?
I think I would need insight on how to approach it with my sister. I don't even know how to bring it up with her besides saying I am so uncomfortable and I don't really know what to do with it. It's my fault that I have not brought it up sooner, and I own that and I take full responsibility for that I haven't owned up sooner, but I didn't know what to do because I was so uncomfortable.
You could just make it as like with your sister and just go to her and be like, could you like tell your man to stop texting me, and kind of make it
Yeah,
a
that's what I
little
was
like
thinking.
jokey
Like,
kind of in a way. And
yeah, just
then,
be like, or like, why does he text me so much? Is he bored?
yeah.
You know, kind of ask
Like your
her.
husband blows up my phone, you know, you can kind of make it to where it's not so serious to where she has to feel defensive and she has to protect him. She could just be like, oh, what's he doing? And then you could be like, he is always bashing women, blowing up my phone. And then, you know, then she can take that up with him.
It seems like to me there's like some gamesmanship of he's finding satisfaction in getting you riled up. You know, when it gets into the articles he sends
Probably.
and you send
Yeah.
back, it's almost, it has a little bit of that like big brother kind of poking the little sister
Yeah.
to
But
me.
like in a
Yeah.
weird way, because you're not 6 and 12 anymore. You
Yeah.
are objectively adults.
Yeah.
And also don't blame yourself for what's going on. I think like I appreciate you trying to take accountability and your role in this, but clearly you've already established I don't like when you send me these things, or you're not responding. So it's not like you're kind of like jabbing back in a way where he's like, this is great, acceptable behavior. See you
I
tomorrow.
have sassed back. To be fair, I think I included some of my sassy responses in those text messages. I'm not the most cool-headed at all times, and I've sassed back my fair share. But
But he probably just
again,
finds
I
that
think
entertaining.
that my sass
Yeah,
is
he likes it.
warranted.
Yeah.
He likes seeing that reaction, is what I think.
Yeah, I
But,
don't-
but
Yeah.
you drew a line in the sand, and so now it's like, hey sis, I drew the line. This is what happened afterwards. 8 messages unanswered. There's your grounds for bringing it up.
I know you stopped messaging him and then he'll send 8 messages, but it seems like then you eventually respond. Like, when was the last time you texted this guy back?
Since I drew the line in the sand last Thursday,
That's Thursday. Okay. And how many messages have you received from him since?
2, which is a lot better than the norm. That's great.
Okay. So I would give it a couple weeks.
Of just not responding.
Yeah, just don't respond. Not like respond less, like never respond. And no matter how many messages or how many articles he sends you, no matter how crazy it is, don't respond. See if he just stops. Hopefully he gets a hint. I feel like he will. And then you don't have to block him and it doesn't become a thing. If he doesn't stop and he keeps going, then you have more grounds, I think, at that point to go to your sister to be like, hey, listen, we had this back and forth. It got weird for me. I started feeling uncomfortable. I didn't want to make a big thing of it because I thought maybe it was just some miscommunication. Maybe we just weren't seeing eye to eye. So yeah, I told him, I pushed back a little bit. Eventually, I just stopped responding to him because I just didn't want to be dramatic about it. But the motherfucker keeps blowing me up. You know, and I don't literally know what to do other than block him. And that feels weird blocking my brother-in-law. So like, can you help his sister out? I feel like that's the approach. But like, I would give it a week or two and see if you never responding to him, if he finally gets the point. Because I think he's used to eventually getting a reaction. And I think Dustin kind of hit on the head. I think he gets off on riling you up.
Yep.
And I think he has this kind of brother-sister relationship. I think every once in a while he crosses a line that maybe can come across as like creepy, but chances are it's just lost in translation in text and he's just maybe not self-aware.
I hope so. Yeah.
But up until this point, it sounds like you have always eventually given in. And it doesn't matter if he sends, 2 or 3 or 10, in between your messages. As soon as you reply back, it kind of breaks that seal.
Got the button again.
And you got it. And then it starts the cycle all over again. So you have to not reply at all. No matter what he sends, no matter what he says that could trigger you, you just have to not reply.
I will be doing that. No problem. You don't have to ask me twice. But the second part is, you think I should wait to tell my sister and have that conversation until after that?
Yeah, you waited this long. I don't know what's going to happen between now and then. You guys don't even live in the same city. You're not going to see him. So I don't think there's a ton of urgency. It doesn't sound like.
Unless it's like weighing on you and it's something that you are having trouble. You think about it a lot and, then in that case, I think get it off your chest.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to tell your sister, but I'm getting the sense that you're afraid to tell your sister because you know how she will react and she'll take his side and it will potentially cause a rift between your relationship. It sucks in family situations to be forced to like pick a side, and then when you're in a relationship and family, it's like you always want to fucking choose your partner's side, and it's easy not to choose your sibling's side, And her default is going to be to defend him. That's what partners do. Unless you have some urgency, unless you need to, I think this problem might solve itself by not replying. And it's only been a week.
Yeah.
And you really haven't, you've gone a week without replying. What you haven't done is completely stop replying. You're in the beginning stages of this new phase. And I think if you give it a couple weeks and not respond to him over a course of a month, then I think it'll be pretty obvious that you're done having these types of conversations with him. And you've proven to him that he can't get a rise out of you. And he might just lose interest.
But I think there's going to be a bridge though, where, is this done forever, or, can it be cordial ever again? That's what is going to have to happen. And like, when's that appropriate?
Well, I think maybe just like the next family event, I think you kind of go in, chill, and you kind of assess out the situation, let him almost, take the lead is maybe a weird way of saying it, but see how he responds. Hopefully, he just kind of gets the point. And I would feel uncomfortable if someone clearly made it, clear that they didn't want to talk to me, with past messages. So the hope is he'll be like, you know what, maybe I pushed my limits and I'm just going to quit while I'm ahead before, I don't know. That's the hope.
And then moving forward, it'd be super objective family, maybe a lot more just direct specifics and less conversational. And I would say more normal.
Yeah. A more normal brother-in-law. Yeah. Relationship.
Yeah.
Maybe, in your chats that you have with your sister down the line, maybe, I don't know, what if he says something to her and she's like, why don't you ever respond to, so-and-so? And then you could say, listen, I feel weird bringing this up, but it just got weird, He just was blowing me up at work and sending me all these articles, and then I kind of asked him to stop, and then he didn't, so I just stopped responding, And kind of, when you say it, just say it like down, I don't want to say downplay it, but like you've moved on from it, it was like, I just stopped responding. Sometimes when someone asks us a story that we're involved in, we kind of have this, oh my God, yes, like, let me tell you about it. Like, it's drama, you tell it in a more dramatic way.
I don't want that.
Yeah. And so it almost comes across as like, yeah, it's drama and it sucks, but you're kind of into, you'll never believe what happened to me, type of thing. And if it ever comes up, I would take a more like, yeah, I don't know, like, it was weird. And so I just stopped responding, but like, what did he say? Almost, sound confused, but like, you're just like, I was tired of having these weird conversations with your husband, so I just stopped doing it.
And you've done nothing wrong. So I think it's important to remember, like, you can be as honest as you want to be at any point in time, because like nothing that you've done has been out of line until this point. Like, you've done everything you possibly could to try to like shut it down, to keep it respectful, to keep it like in a normal place. It hasn't been there. And so if it does come up with your sister, like, you can, whatever details that like you want to share, you are allowed to share, because none of them are damning towards you. Just being like, yeah, I didn't bring it up with you because I really didn't want to sound dramatic, or I didn't want to like make a situation uncomfortable, or kind of like whatever else, like anything that you want to share, please know that like you should feel comfortable sharing, because like the honest to God truth is that like everything you've done has been like with good intention, trying to like protect everyone involved and keep things like healthy. So you don't need to hide anything just because the situation has been uncomfortable and weird and bizarre is in no way an indictment of the way that you've handled yourself in it. And so like you don't have anything to hide.
Thank you for saying that. And yeah, I think it is best to take the non-dramatic approach. I don't want to be dramatic at all. That's not really my MO, especially within my own family. And I think in past, I've always been seen in my family as more peacekeeper. So I'd rather keep that reputation than all of a sudden become the dramatic one.
Damn, family.
Well, give us an update. Let us know how it goes.
Definitely an update.
I'm all in now.
But
I'm all in.
give it a couple weeks. Don't reply, and then I think reassess. But if he doesn't stop, then I think you're eventually gonna have to say something to your sister. If you don't reply at all, and 2 or 3 weeks in, he's still blowing you up, that's so fucking weird. And you'll be able to like go to your sister and be like, "Isn't this? This is weird. Please ask him to stop." You know.
When do you think the next in-person family hang is?
It'll be Thanksgiving, where all of us are together again.
I think you should jump back on for a post-Thanksgiving recap.
Yeah.
Oh, I was
sure.
like, what?
Yeah, let us know.
Well, like after the first,
Like,
Hey,
bro,
bro.
happy Thanksgiving.
No, we love a Thanksgiving update.
Yeah,
and
come
also,
back.
mom already knows, so that's a good thing. You got mom in your corner, so you're not alone in this.
I still stand by. I think he found your button.
Yeah.
And he saw it.
Push it.
He saw it react, and so he just keeps going.
Don't love it, but I agree with you.
All right. Well, keep us posted. Good luck.
You betcha.
All
Sounds
right.
great.
Take care. All
Bye.
Bye-bye. Whew, that was a doozy.
Yeah,
They're fun, huh? Yeah.
that was cool.
Yeah. Dustin, we were obviously talking a lot about touring, and you being in all these cities.
And what I do.
What do you do? Will the people be able to possibly see you live again soon?
One of the best things about putting out a new album is we get to play new songs.
Yeah.
You know, and playing 100-ish shows a year, it's nice to have new stuff to play. So with the new album, we're announcing a new tour called Kill the Cowboy Tour, and going to be initially about 20 cities with that tour. And I'm just so pumped. You know, honestly, it'll kick off in April, but we're already designing the show and starting to. It takes a long time to figure out the visuals behind, you know, each moment, and coming up with how do we make these songs special and not just be what people are used to hearing come through the speakers. So we've already started designing that, working with our team on that.
It's
So
gotta be a ton of fun.
it's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm taking out an artist that I love just as a brother and as a person. And upon like coming up with the idea of like, it would be kind of different and cool to take him out. I dug into his catalog, and the artist is Skis. And he's worked a lot with another guy named Mike, and I'm just a huge fan. So we're already working on getting some dates in the studio and hopefully get in there and make some magic before we hit the road. But he'll be out with us on all the stops and be a big old party.
That's awesome. I actually will often wonder this question with like any artist I go see a concert, because you mentioned it's exciting to play new music, but as an audience, we always like love the hits, you know, and we love listening to music that we recognize and we know the songs too. How do you find the balance as an artist to like mix it up? And do you ever get sensitive almost, or that vulnerability of putting out that new music when you're playing it for the first time, you know, where people haven't streamed it 35 million times or whatever it is, like some of your other songs? Like, how do you find that balance, or do you just push through?
Well, you know, we're at that point where we can't play all of the hits and play new stuff.
Yeah.
So something's got to go, and we'll get hate mail. We don't play, you know, whatever song, whatever person wanted to hear that night. But it's kind of part of being where we're at. I think with the Killed the Cowboy tour, I have so much more to say on this album, and it's a lot more personal for me. So I can see a lot of this album making the set list and kind of steering the night. And then we'll put as many hits as we can around it. And I also love it doing a moment. I'm thinking about doing a moment of like going back to the past and pulling from some old albums of like songs that I wish we could have focused on or made a single at radio that didn't get the chance. We ran out of time or whatever it was, just because we haven't done that yet. But keeping all of that in mind, our shows are, we try to keep them rowdy and very interactive. And so the tempo is going to be good. And then that that always leans into adding some cover songs too. So I think it's going to be a good mix.
Okay.
When you start a tour, you're like, this is it. And then after the first weekend, it's almost like you need another week of rehearsals to go, that was not
Yeah,
it.
let's
It's
change
like,
a
no
couple
matter
things.
what, you think you have it dialed in. When you finally get in front of the fans, there's these moments where you're like, that did not connect, and just learning from some of the best that I've got to tour with. That's just how it goes for everybody. And you make those tweaks along the way. And then you end up with a show that's pretty refined and dialed in.
Is there an artist you toured with that you've just kind of been in awe with their process? And
Yes, I mean, with that, with no hesitation, Keith Urban.
okay.
And he was my first, thank goodness, man. I learned so much from that guy. Was such a huge fan of Keith. I couldn't believe when he called me to go on tour with him. And, because of Keith's past, he's very regimented in his days. This is this day and this is what I do just to keep him on track. And at least he was when I was touring with him. I assume it's still the same. And as a young artist, back in our Taco Bell, Jack Daniels days, it was great to see one of the greatest, so dialed in and so professional and just detail oriented to the max about, not just the show, but everything that was going into his body and how much rest he was getting and all of that. So it was just like a big brother to me. I love him to death. And yeah, that would probably be my top,
Okay.
this is the guy that's laser focused. But I will say, everybody at that level, man, they're at that level for a reason.
Sure.
They're all great guys. I haven't met one person that's been around, that's an A-list headliner that's stuck around and had staying power that's been a dick. Everybody's great people. I think that goes a long ways.
Yeah, for sure.
I know you said it took you 2 years to write George Strait Jr. Was a lot of the album writing process like that? Did it take that long? Were some of them easy?
Some were easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's songwriting's so weird. Some days you go in and within an hour, it's like, boom, there it is. When I started releasing music, all we had was Twitter and Facebook.
Yeah.
What was streaming songs? That didn't exist. What was Instagram didn't exist. TikTok didn't exist.
Yeah.
And recording, the way we write and record songs in Nashville has completely changed too. Now, I thrive off of guys and girls that can build tracks as I write, and they'll pitch in some ideas, but then they know when to okay, they'll get that line or whatever they're working on. I'm going to go back over here and start programming and playing guitars and whatever. And when we come out of, usually that evening, I have a recorded version that in a lot of cases we could release and the public would probably love. It's that good, good of quality. And so there's just uber talented people that some days it's quick like that and I can go home and brag to my friends or whatever. And then with George Strait Jr., it was just about, that title was special to me. I thought it could be a clickable, cool title. And I hate saying this, but to put it simply, and the guys I wrote it with are my brothers, it was just cheesy, the first version. And I knew it couldn't be cheesy.
Yeah.
And we just had to figure out how to make it cool and dope. And it just took a while to get there.
What comes first, the song title or the song?
All depends. I'm very melodic driven as a writer. We'd like to have a title to steer the room, but sometimes you just start with melody and words fit.
Right.
But I would say I lean melodic. And once we get those melodic lines, I can kind of fill words in. Melody is what keeps me coming back to songs.
Yeah.
I even my favorite bands. I'm 20 years into listening to the band Incubus. And I will go to their concert tomorrow and, this is my favorite song. And I'll just mumble words because I don't know what they've ever said and I don't care. It just makes me feel, it makes me.
I relate to that.
Yeah, it just
she
makes
knows
me
every word to every song.
Yeah, so I don't know. I've just always been a melody fan.
Okay.
I love that.
Interesting.
I love that.
I know I've got a couple buddies from Georgia who now live in Nashville. I don't know if you know Trey Landon, Dylan Marlowe.
I do,
don't
yeah.
know. Yeah. So I know they do a lot of writers rounds. Is that something that just starting off songwriters do, or is that something that even you still now will go and listen or go and even play?
Yeah, one of my favorite things right now in life is helping younger artists and songwriters that are coming to town, because I came to town not knowing anybody, and it took a while to figure out that side of the business for me. And writers rounds were back then when I was getting going, and still are what I'm telling everybody I'm trying to help and mentor, if you want to call it that, along the way. These are so important to just go and sit next to somebody or just be in the crowd and think about the craft of songwriting and the stories behind the songs and how did that person get to this idea. Well, a lot of the times they lived it. Reminds me as a songwriter to go live a little bit. So yeah, the writers rounds are very specific to Nashville, the Nashville community. I still love playing them. If I do one this year, it'll be the most nervous I ever am because I never do them, but it's fun. It's a fun challenge, because when we're on stage, I've got a bunch of guys that are awesome musicians helping me shine. And when it's just a writer's round, it's me and a guitar. And it's just different. It's fun.
How does a writer's round work?
So it'd be
the people who don't know what that is.
A few artists in a row on stage, and it's kind of one by one. They just go in rotation and tell a story, play a song.
Oh shit! Really on the spot.
Absolutely, man. It's so unique and special to Nashville. Anybody that visits Nashville, every night of the week, there's writers' rounds, and these young artists and writers and Hall of Fame artists and writers doing them too. It would be like, to compare it to not open mic, but how comedians will go around and like try their new stuff.
Sure.
Here in town at Laugh Factory or whatever.
Yeah.
Artists aren't doing that, but songwriters are. And I still think when I'm filtering songs, I put myself on stage mentally most of the time with new music, and it's like, does this work? With the new album coming out now, when we play these songs live in front of a crowd, I promise you we're going to play one and I'm going to go, didn't feel right up here. And it just won't. It's how it goes. But then you play some and you go, oh man, whatever that wavelength is, it just works with what we do. And that's play music in front of a lot of people.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
That's great.
Did you start off as a songwriter, or is that something you learned?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know that's how it was going to go. I had to learn that. But I started off as a writer. It's a crazy tough road. So you're working off of what they call, most of the time, what they call a draw. So, a publisher in most cases is giving you a check every couple weeks, but you owe that money once you start making money back to them. And that they're betting on, all right, I'm going to give this kid $20,000 for the year over the course of 3 years or whatever it is, hoping he makes me more than that at the end of 3 years.
Oh, wow.
With his writing. And that's a lot of how the system works. So it's a crazy fun time for young aspiring writers or artists that are listening, honestly mingling. I assume a lot like it is, in most creative towns. It's just mingling and going out constantly. It's a grind. Like you're constantly going out to rounds and different showcases and just bars in general and meeting artists and writers that you kind of vibe with and like creating with and like hanging out with and kind of are about the same things. And it just takes a lot of socializing and figuring out who that cast is. And I work pretty closely with a dozen guys and girls, create most of my music. I've just spent enough time with them. I think they know who I am and where I'm at in my life. Now, after this podcast, a lot of people know where I'm at. But they definitely know where I'm at and kind of what I've been through. And they're constantly thinking for me and pitching me ideas along the way. And then when we get and create, it's usually pretty good start, pretty close start to like where I need to be. It's nothing off the wall.
Right.
What are you about? They know me closely and that helps out a lot. And that's what those years of doing life together and, being broke together and going out together.
Growing up together.
Yeah, you grow up together and so it becomes a lot. Right now, I think I have a pretty efficient group that creates with me.
Do you have a favorite Taylor Swift song? I know it's random, but
it would be from
not random to us.
Yeah, well, I don't have my phone. It would be from the '89 album, Style.
Oh,
That's a great one.
That's a great one.
I noticed really early on that you're wearing friendship bracelets.
Oh,
I was like, is that a nod to her?
No, so I honest to God, I have this backpack that I'm not wearing it now, but I have my cowboy hat here for some other stuff we're doing. And I reached in a pocket and I saw this. I'm like, that's awesome. So I grabbed this. I thought it was a little girl that handed me this the other night on stage. And I'm like, that's so cool. So I wear it. Like sometimes I'll get, whatever random bracelets. And I saw the Taylor Swift thing happen. I'm like, that's so cool. She would bring me one. And it has my name on it. And then I got going around. I'm like, oh, wait a second. And then there's a phone number.
Oh. Oh, and you didn't text it?
No.
No.
Yeah, but you're wearing it.
Well,
But it's dope.
Yeah,
it
it looks
dope.
great.
Thank you. Yeah, I figured I'd rock it. I reached in to my backpack this morning and I saw it. I'm like, what the hell? We'll rock that today.
Dustin, we could talk for hours, man. It's been great having
It's been
you
awesome
on.
fun,
yeah,
y'all.
really
We'd love to have you guys out to the show.
Would love to, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll definitely make it happen.
Come on.
Congratulations on all of the success. Your new album, Killed the Cowboy. Make sure you guys check it out. When does it drop?
September 29th.
September, the day after my birthday.
That's right.
Hell yeah. So celebrate by getting Dustin's new album. Stream it wherever you stream. Check it out.
Yep. It'll be everywhere.
Follow them. All of the congrats to you, man. It's
Thank
been
you.
Awesome to just see all your success, man.
Thank you, man. Thank you guys for having me on.
Yeah, it's been a
I
pleasure.
feel like I've needed therapy for a long time, and I just started my new journey with you guys right here. The
Yeah.
chapter begins, It's
right.
what blank pages to fill in.
Come
Okay.
on in,
All right.
schedule a-
All right. Well, let me go.
schedule an
Let me
appointment.
go get myself in some trouble, and I'll come back.
I'd say, you know what? Just take more swings.
More swings.
Open up those doors and windows for the rooms you want to fill, man. You know, like
Okay.
you just say yes to maybe meeting some people, even if it feels a little anxious. Maybe even in Nashville.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love it, ladies. Anything for the playbook?
Eat more Taco Bell, drink tequila.
Taco
Works
Bell
for
and Jack
me. Is that what I'm
Daniels. Bring
missing?
it back. Bring it back.
Bring back the taco. I still eat Taco Bell. It's just not
We went twice the other week.
nothing wrong.
Don't admit that.
2 days in a row.
That's our little secret.
I'm sorry.
I swear, there's something in Taco Bell food. There's a drug in there.
That makes you addicted to it.
Absolutely.
It's
Yeah.
good.
Because
It's-
once you pop that top, man.
What do you get? Just
what's your
tacos?
order?
Oh, I'm any of it.
Oh,
Like I'm all over the map. Most of the time,
You're just
like,
show up to that drive-through and like give it.
One of everything.
All of it. One of everything.
When did it get so damn expensive? I ate it a couple of weeks ago. I was running late trying to get some stuff done at the farm, and the only thing open on the way back to town was Taco Bell. I'm like, hell yeah. So I jumped in and I had, I don't know, 4 or 5 things, and it was $26. What?
That is crazy.
That's crazy.
That is crazy. I
Taco
heard
Bell.
on the
Goddamn inflation.
I heard on the radio the other day they were talking about Burger King and it's a $8 burger now.
What?
$8 for a burger at Burger King.
At Burger King?
Yes.
It's getting wild.
What?
Yes, that's what they said on the radio.
Damn. That's crazy.
Well,
So Taco Bell, that's what I get.
Yeah.
Out of this side
You
of
get
the room.
Taco
Taco Bell and Jack
That's
Daniels.
what I'm ending on.
Okay.
Ask me
All right.
what?
I don't know.
Perfect.
If you had any pointers.
Yeah, just be more open. More yeses.
I
If you're
love it.
anything like me, and it sounds like we had similar paths
It feels like.
dating, man.
Y'all are kindred spirits.
Well, I never went through the public craziness like you did, though. What I assume you hit on it, like
yeah,
dating, like in the bachelor years. I can't imagine the opinions of.
a lot. There was a lot of opinions. Then there was like the dates where they
All right, we'll be
they
completely
kind
real.
of
Like,
revealed themselves as huge fans after the fact. You know, you're like, tell
And
me
are you
about
in-
Josh. You know, like what?
are you invested? And these are like you're actually. This is a real thing.
I made a genuine attempt at making those relationships work.
Yeah.
But you know, you're trying to do that off of meeting someone after a few weeks and spending a few hours. So
Yeah.
it was-
I think it takes a while to get to know somebody. Seeing them like you guys were initially, a couple days here, a couple weeks off, a couple days here, a couple weeks off. Like it takes most of the year to actually
that's okay.
hang out.
Check your DMs.
Yeah. After this episode, check
All right,
out.
I'm gonna start saying yes more.
check those DMs. Yeah, I mean, listen, I had a lot of reluctance, but I had to power through it, And I always found reasons. There was a time similar to what I'm getting the vibe from you. There was a time where I was just finding reasons to say no to situations or to people, to dates, looking for problems, even with her, and yeah, you got to keep your guard up and things like that. But I think when you find a connection and you see a little glimmer of a light, just peel back some layers and give it a shot.
Love it.
You never know. But yeah, either way, you're crushing life, so you don't need that much advice
you'll
from
be
me.
good.
It's been a pleasure, man.
Thank you guys for having me on.
All
It
right.
was a blast.
Thanks for listening, guys. Don't forget to send those questions at asknick@theviallfiles.com. We'll see you tonight for another episode of Better Date Than Never. Bye.
Bye.
Hey guys, if you loved what you listened to, make sure you hit that subscribe button below. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.